Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. This is actually a companion page to my Scrap 5 layout, but you won't see that one until Saturday. So some of this is going to be kind of a little bit of a spoiler for that page. I'm using a lot of scraps and the same papers I used from the other page just so they coordinate really nicely. This is documenting Avery going to the pumpkin patch for the first time with his mom and Bennett. So I'm really trying to use all of these autumnal tones, these really warm tones that remind me of fall. The photo is very fall-esque because there's this corn stalk arch with very fall-colored flowers and a wooden bench. So I'm really trying to tie that all together into this page using this collection just by selectively picking things that really help emphasize that part of the theme. So I already have this frame from this wood grain. You will see me gut this from the next page that you will see on Saturday. But I strategically got this so I could use this frame on this one. And there's a couple scraps from this page I also gutted from the last one that I'm going to try and tie in. So right away, I thought with this wood grain frame that I had and with all the scraps that were going on, it made the most sense just to use a white 12 by 12 cardstock. None of the other patterns from this collection were kind of in this color scheme because I pulled all of them to do these pages already. So I thought to be the most cohesive, it would just make the most sense to use white. So that's what I did to piece together my 12 by 12. I took a white piece of cardstock and just glued the wooden frame on top of it. And now you can see my photo. It's just a 4 by 6. I think I trimmed it down a tiny bit, but I'm really just trying to compose my layers using the scraps from my other page. So this yellow daisy print, this brick red gingham, in the wood grain scraps. There's also pops of maroon I'm wanting to tie in because there were pops of maroon in the other page. So this tag you can see to the left here that says Little Wildflower. I think that is so cute, but I love that maroon tone. It's that really rich autumnal color that I really want to tie in. So I'm kind of thinking that's where I will go with this page. I'm not really sure of a direction. I just know I want there to be several layers behind my photo. And then kind of a cluster revolved around this maroon tag over here. So this is why I decided to trim down my photo a little bit. I had this scrap of the gingham that I really wanted to be the mat around the photo, but it was just not really the size I needed it to be. So I kind of made it work by trimming the photo down a tiny bit and then just piecing together this mat so it looks like it goes all the way around. There are two tiny little gaps kind of on either side towards the bottom of this mat, but I will just plan on there being embellishment there and nobody will know because it will be covered up. So this is kind of what I'm starting with thinking. I love the gingham mat. I love the yellow mat, and I definitely want to tie in the wood grain someplace else. So these are kind of the composition of the layers. I definitely want to tie in more of the gingham. The other page was this yellow flower was the background, and then the wood grain and the gingham were kind of predominant layers. So that's why I'm doing a little flip-flop here, but trying to make sure all of this is still balanced. But I really like using this scrap of the gingham like a long vertical layer to the right here. So I'm kind of thinking this will be where this is, like how this is layered, and then I start kind of composing a cluster with this maroon tag. But this tag is kind of a little bit too large for how my layers are looking because this is kind of we're standing back a ways to take this photo so we can get the whole arch detail in. Becca and Bennett and Avery all are kind of small in the photo. You can still see them really well, but I just feel like the proportion of them versus this tag, the tag just looked a giant and like it covered up too much of my layers. So that's why I decided to move the tag to this lower left hand corner and kind of compose a cluster over there instead of coming off of the photo like I normally like to do. And I already really, really like this. I didn't know if I would use a rainbow on this page or not, but I kind of liked the idea of that because you have the arch of the flowers in the photo and then you kind of have the arch of the rainbow. So I really like that repetition. And for whatever reason, just the way the rainbow layered underneath this tag at the very bottom, I just really liked how that looked. I don't know why. So that's going to stay there. And I kind of had some branding strips and some scraps of the yellow floral and the gingham. And so I just kind of decided to stack them up, kind of coming out from the wood grain frame to the left here, to kind of be the grounding spot for this whole little tag. And I really like how that looked. And once I did that, I kind of tucked the larger wood grain or gingham scrap under the wood grain to the right. And that's kind of where this design came from. I kind of did it on accident on the left side and really liked it. So instead of having my cluster coming off of the photo and all the layers kind of being in the middle of the page, I kind of separated the two elements, and they're both going to be coming in from opposite sides. And I really like that. I feel like I did a page kind of similar to this last month, where I had my two photos coming in from either side of the page, and I really liked that kind of different design. So I'm just kind of doing that again, except for I have one photo and a bigger cluster. But I'm just trying to compose the cluster here. I really like the rainbow. I thought it would be really sweet since yellow is a color on this page to pull in a little bit more yellow. So there's a little chipboard sun that I think is really cute. And I think the sun layered on top of the rainbow is also really nice because you get the rainbow from the sun. And then I have a little sentiment that says my sunshine, which I also thought was perfect because I'm layering it over the sunshine. So that is kind of that cluster down there. I am going to add the gingham to the left as well, just so I have that repetition. I have both of those patterns on either side, but I decided to pull in one of the elements from Scrap 5. I don't really want there to be spoilers, but I did for Scrap 5, but I am trying to pull in elements on this page that I will use on that one since I've done that page already. And one of the things I ended up doing on that page was using my deco scissors, which have been in my stash for probably like a decade and not been used. And so I really wanted to kind of tie this element onto this page since you'll see it on the next one. So instead of just having another branding strip tucked up under the yellow branding strip, I decided to use these zigzag deco scissors to create a really cool texture, which is really fun. So I have that, and now that I've kind of done that treatment on the left, I'll end up doing the zigzag deco scissors to the gingham on the right as well, just so that element is on either side. And it's a subtle detail, but I really like it. I think it's really sweet. And I also think it's kind of fun. I remember like when I first started scrapbooking in middle school with my mom, like a long time ago, we used deco scissors a lot. That was kind of the trendy thing to do at the time. I know they're kind of outdated now, but we would use them a lot as like which I really want to do it again because part of it's so nostalgic, and I still think it looks really cool, even though it's something I did a long time ago, where you use the deco scissors to cut decorative frames on your mats around your photos. And so I just thought this was a cool, different way to use those that I hadn't used it before, just to like make a decorative edge on a layer. So anyways, I've kind of got this composed. I'm really excited about this idea. I'm really glad this page is kind of morphing into something different than I thought it would be originally. So I'm just trying to roll with it. I am still matting gutting as I go. So as I go to glue each kind of element to the next, I'm going to see how much is covered. This yellow piece was too long, so I'm just tearing the bottom of that just for a little extra texture and a little extra detail. And now that I can see how much of the wood grain's covered, I'm also going to gut the wood grain. But my layering here is almost done, and then I really just need to embellish. I definitely want to title this Sleepy Hollow. This is Sleepy Hollow's farm, which is where the pumpkin patch was. They also had like a corn maze, and this is actually where part of Stranger Things was filmed. So they have Hopper's cabin that they used as the set of Hopper's cabin for the show is here. And they turned it into an escape room. And I'm pretty sure it's Stranger Things themed, obviously, because it's the actual Hopper's cabin. So we really want to go back and do that escape room. But I just thought it was really cool, and I've never been here before. So I was like amazed how much they had. They had a petting zoo. So obviously we were there for quite a while, because I will never be too old to go sit with a bunch of random animals and just cuddle. So that was a lot of fun too. I don't think I have any pictures of that. I'll have to double check. But this is for Avery's book, and Avery obviously wasn't the one feeding the animals. It was Bennett that I was with feeding the animals, so it wouldn't be in this book anyways. But yeah, long story short, want to put Sleepy Hollow on this page because the companion page, as you will see, I don't have, I have it titled, but I don't have anything about where we actually are. So I want the title on this page. This is Sleepy Hollow. And again, I am thinking about pulling in more yellow. So I pulled in this fun yellow trim. I'm using this trim a lot this month. This is some mustard wavy ribbon from Allie that Allie sent with a bunch of other Happy Meal goodies. And I've used it a couple times, and I just think it is the sweetest, like most fun touch for like a kid's page. So since I want to pull in more yellow, I did pull that in to thread my tag with. I have my favorite epoxy alphas from Felicity Jane. These are the Heidi yellow epoxy alphas. So I'm just spelling out Sleepy Hollow in the gap that's down there. It is really tricky with epoxy alphas because they are semi-translucent, so it's been hard for me to use these really cute alphabets over pattern papers or over other colors. So when I have a white background like I do now, I was very excited because like, I can use epoxy. So I'm just going to get that on there. And now I'm trying to compose some other areas. There's no other embellishment other than my main embellishment, so I'm just trying to make sure I can kind of balance some of these other things around my photo area. So I already have this maroon flower to help pull in the maroon from the tag. I do want this yellow trim to be somewhere else on the page, so it's not just that tag that has that really cool trim. So I just did a little piece of that will come out from the floral cluster I'm planning on being to the right here. I need that cluster there because of the gap on that first frame around the photo. So I'm just planning on this flower covering up the gap from the frame. But I'm pretty sure I know where all of this is going to be glued. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down the all the paper layers so I can actually just focus on embellishing now. So I'm just going to take a moment to do that. I got the wood grain and now I'm gluing it all together, and I will secure it to the background before I continue with embellishment. But as I'm looking at this, I'm really happy with the balance of the wood grain, the yellow, the red. It's really just the maroon that I want to pull into around the photo area. So you'll see that's kind of what I focus on. So it just takes me a moment to glue all of this down. And then I think I go to the sticker sheet mostly. There's a lot of this maroon colored word stickers on the sticker sheet. So I pretty much pull in like almost every maroon word sticker from the sticker sheet and kind of create a visual triangle with the maroon around the photo. And I think together it all helps pull the maroon from the tag up there. So it just takes me a minute. I start out with just a couple over to the left of the photo because again, I have that same gap on that side I need to cover. So I was just thinking, oh, I can have a couple word stickers over here, and that way both of these gaps are covered. But after I did this, the white area on top of the photo section was looking really, really plain. There's a lot of embellishment towards the bottom of the page with this big cluster and now these two little areas on the sides of the photo. So to balance everything, I really felt like I needed to pull stuff to the very top of the page. And again, that would create a visual triangle between the flower and these word stickers and now the new word stickers that I'm going to start adding. I did pop all of the word stickers up on some foam so there would be some dimension So it just takes me a moment to do that as well. But I really felt like all of the word stickers, the sentiments were really sweet. The color was perfect. I like the mix of font. So it really worked out well. I also saw this bunny to the left of me within all of my kind of embellishment I pulled out to potentially use. And it's this neutral colored bunny, and I thought it would also be very sweet on this page. I realized there weren't any animals on this page, and even though there's no pictures of the petting zoo, I wanted there to be an animal just because I felt like it would help me remember that there were animals here. So this bunny I think is really sweet, and I really wanted to incorporate it into one of the 3 clusters around the photo. So what I decided to do was add it to the floral cluster over here by the cool ribbon. I kind of think this cool ribbon kind of makes that cluster special and kind of helps balance. It's directly across the page from the other area with the ribbon. So I kind of feel like if one cluster was going to be more special within this visual triangle, it should be that one. So that's why I added the bunny over there with that flower. And now the other 2 clusters are basically just getting word stickers and a star sticker. So that's just why I decided to do that. I'm sure this bunny would have looked cute at the top of the page where I originally thought about using it, but I don't know, it just made more sense to the right for me. So I started just by adding 1 sticker, and again, it just looked too plain at the top. I didn't like the white gap, so I wanted more stickers up there. So I went back and got the remaining 2 maroon stickers off of the sticker sheet. Again, I'm popping those up on some pop dots, and I'm just going to stagger them so there's a fun little cascade of word stickers. But it says little wild child, born to be wild, little one, cute and cuddly, all about you. So I really like all of those sentiments. They're so sweet, and I love this photo. If you look at it, we took a ton of photos while they were here, but either one of the 2 boys were making a funny face, or one of them like wasn't looking at the camera. But at this one photo, they're looking at each other, and it is so cute. I love this photo of them. It is so sweet. So I just thought all of that went really well. But I did add a maroon star to one cluster, a yellow star to another cluster, and then I went back and added these yellow chipboard stars to the tag. But here are the close-ups. I had a lot of fun with this page. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, which is the companion page to this one. It'll be Scrap 5 on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Bye.